The short game. The biggest difference between high handicappers and scratch golfers is what happens under 100 yards. And so on this quest to the holy grail of scratch golf, we are going to learn how to hit chip shots from different lies, distances, and terrain, downhill shots, uphill shots, hardpan shots, and everything in between. But you're also going to see the legend, my Hall of Fame coach Rick Sessenhouse, show us his own greatness.
Oh, go in.
And how he made a PGA Pro Colin Morikawa a two-time major champion. And ultimately see, ladies and gentlemen, if he can train me, a young Padawan, to become the next master.
Let's go.
Today is we're going to talk about shot selection
Yeah.
in spots, yet I know you're working on your golf swing.
Yeah.
And so there's a part of your brain that wants to mechanically work on something.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get you into play mode, creativity mode, and commitment mode.
Cool.
Okay?
Perfect.
So we're on this this short par 5 here at Chevy Chase, and we're going to put ourselves as if we had to lay up on a third shot.
Okay.
So we're going to be hitting a short-ish wedge, but there's some interesting things going on here. So stand over the live for me, please. And so what do we experience?
It's definitely inclined over there.
Yeah,
Inclined.
so that is against what you want, right? Now
Yeah.
your weight's all on your right side. You told me you want to get into your left side on the follow-through.
Yeah.
So this is going to be, we're going to kind of have two different discussions about this shot. One is what is the best shot for us to play? Club choice, alignment, all those type of things.
Mm-hmm.
The other one is how do we want to actually swing the club?
Yes.
And what I mean by that is that on an upslope lie, and you've told me you want to get to the left side, if I get stuck on back here because I'm going down the slope, I'm going to have to move a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
Or do I put a little bit more weight on the left side to just kind of anchor me?
Okay.
Right. An average player, and again, you want to be better than average. An average player, we have you kind of work with the slope a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think better players might kind of trap it on this. So being on your left side would be fine.
Okay.
So you don't have to
What do you
go
mean by
around
trap it?
it is be more on top of it.
Oh, I see.
And one, it'll help lower the ball flight because this is going to be an upslope lie tends to go higher because we're back here and it's going to go this way.
Mm-hmm.
We also have some wind. We have some, so we want to flight it a little bit better. We would have your sternum where the mic is. Make sure it doesn't get back here too much.
Yeah.
And make sure we're covering it or trapping it a little bit more is probably the better play for this.
Okay.
So you just shot the number.
Yeah.
And what was that?
84. Let me just double check on the slope and everything. Yeah, it's 86.
So we have 86, but that
With the
is
slope.
that with slope?
With the slope,
You
yeah.
cheater.
Yeah.
And something I want you to do, I've talked about it
I know.
before, is shoot the regular number, guess what you think the slope is, and then put the slope on the rangefinder so you can start understanding with your own eyes what it is.
Okay.
Because you're going to play in tournaments down the road, you're not allowed to use the slope finder.
Gotcha,
Okay?
okay.
So you said it's 86 with that data, correct?
Yeah.
We have a lie that is an upslope.
Yeah.
Tend to hit it higher.
Yeah.
We have some wind. We've had some swirling winds today.
Mm-hmm.
It now feels like it's downwind.
Yeah.
Hour ago when I was out here was the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
We're not seeing the flag move much. We then look at what's on the green. Well, this green has a false front,
Yeah.
so we have to get it almost to the distance. If
Yep.
you're a little short, it's going to spin off. These greens are super soft right now. So all those variables come into play is like, what's the best shot for you to play? So what club are you got?
56.
Is it a full swing, 3/4?
It is going to be a little more than a 3/4 swing.
Great. Where are you going to aim?
I'm going to aim right of the pin about like 5 to 7 feet.
And why is that?
I'm tending to draw my shots right now.
Okay.
And then it'll just hopefully just land back right at the pin. It might go down to the left.
Okay.
Which will give me like up.
So you're playing the pattern you've been having.
Yeah.
We have an upslope lie, which would tend to promote that also, by the way.
Okay, yeah.
My thing on, let's not get too far to the right. You have a lot of green to the left there, sir.
Yeah.
But if you short side yourself on the right-hand side, that may make chipping difficult. Now, I know you've got a short wedge in your hand. This is a scoring club, but we definitely want to be able to give yourself a little room to work with, right? We've analyzed it. We've now made a decision, and now we want to make the decision into probably a feel, don't we?
Yeah.
So the practice swing becomes important. I want you, in this case, to do it near the ball because you want to simulate what that slope is. A lot of people do their practice swings back here, and this may not match it.
Gotcha.
Right? This is going to help you understand where your balance is. This is going to help you understand where the low point of that swing is, so you can then get into that ball confidently as you go.
Got it. And so here I'm gonna put more pressure here because I kind of don't want to be leaning here. You said a little more.
I think that's the best way for you, especially what you're working on right now. Let's just stay there, anchor there, so we
Okay.
don't have to move back and forth.
Okay.
And it's like I anchor it left, I stay there,
Mhm.
and I think that'll keep you over the ball in a much better way than again. This would move you off.
Yeah.
like you talked with Dana, he doesn't want you moving off.
Yeah.
So now I think it makes it easier for this particular shot.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so now we visualize the shot. You've already told me what you want. We're gonna see that. That helps us focus. Your goal is to commit to the shot. Okay, watch it. Okay, so we've done a lot with mental game about post-shot routines. And this is what's great about practicing on a golf course where you have these different variables.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you another opportunity.
Yeah.
What did we learn? Is basically
Yeah.
the loaded question, right? It's not the shot you wanted.
Yep.
So we get a do-over.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do differently?
I like fell back on the shot, and so I just need to like make this
Stabilize it, right?
stabilize
So that's what I'm saying. Your slope's gonna pull you.
Yeah.
So we can either, so some people would maybe change ball position, put it back. So if they did move it, they're not affected as much. I think what you're working on though with your swing, I think anchoring on their left side is probably a little bit better for this particular shot. Okay.
Yeah.
The other thing that gets us stuck, to be honest with you, and that's why that ball kind of went to the right.
Yeah.
It's harder to rotate through.
Yeah.
You were falling back.
Yeah.
Let's go over to the right. Okay. So that's why I was a little hesitant with you kind of aiming a little right there. I know you said you're going to draw the ball, but a lot of factors were working against you to be able to rotate through.
Yeah.
So let's do another practice swing because I think that's going to help you with the balance effect again.
Yeah, I'm wondering, sometimes I get into this, and this kind of does it, depends on like how I'm playing on the day, but like this is my first shot of the day, maybe going more safe side versus like 8 holes in, I'm feeling good.
Totally, and our decision is going to be very situational specific.
Yeah.
It would be much better here, I think, to aim 15 feet left. We have a big part of the green.
Yeah.
If you push it, you're fine. If you pull it, you're fine.
Yeah.
The other option you had out there, if you pushed it, we're now in some trouble.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's play a little more conservative.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, at where you're at with your skill set, pars are good. Okay. Now there's gonna be a time later on where you go, but Rick, this is a reach. I mean, this is a par 5. I got a scoring club in my hand. I understand we want to make birdies on par 5s, but sometimes a par is just fine.
Yeah,
Okay.
let me try to land on the left side.
Okay. Okay, so we're not sure how that ball's if it's gonna release or not. I think it grabbed and spun, but that's exactly why we aim left.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
The miss now went towards the hole. You're gonna
Yeah.
look like a hero, but that wasn't the plan, was
Yeah.
it? So notice again that the slope got you a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Better.
I feel like, especially with these, actually I had another question, with these half swings, because I'm also not doing the whole move.
Correct.
And so I feel like I should just like stay here and
Yes, and then rotate off of this post.
like this.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I
okay.
think that's a little better for these partial shots.
Yeah, because it's kind of like the double, it doesn't have weight on it. So like kind of like that.
Correct. I mean, contact is always our first goal, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, I know people are obsessed with direction, but we got to hit it solid.
It's just a little.
So I liked a lot about that. I know it floated right.
Yeah.
Now that I've seen you hit it, we had an upslope lie, but would you also agree that the ball was below your feet?
Yes.
Okay, so we had a combo.
gonna go
This
out there, right?
usually makes it go this way. That makes it go this way, and that looked like that one, right?
Yeah.
The ball below your feet kind of got you, right? Everyone went to the right, but that was better contact, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Did you feel like you were a little bit more on the left and rotate better?
Yeah, exactly. I think one of the main things that when I was talking to you off camera, where I started going more into out and kind of drawing, is when I could do the whole
Correct.
thing and then comes in. But
That drops the club.
yeah.
But when we're hitting wedges and we're going to stay here, it's going to be a little more neutral.
Yeah.
And that's fine with a wedge. We don't want a lot of movement on a wedge. This
Yep.
is kind of, and we want to make it solid. We want to, as you get more advanced, trajectory of the shot's going to be very, very important.
Mhm.
But you're exactly right. A full swing with driver where there's that load and then is a lot different than a 3/4 wedge.
Gotcha. And then here, like, I mean, it's kind of like cutting, meaning I'm coming this way out to in. And so kind of to avoid that without doing the whole, how would I kind of just,
Well, I wouldn't say you were necessarily out to in.
Oh,
I mean, if you looked at the divot, we had you aim left. The divot's left. Okay.
yeah. Oh, okay.
I wouldn't say that divot's like this,
Yeah.
out to in,
Mm.
but, and especially the last one, right? The depth of the divot is pretty darn good.
Yeah. So this, I guess my club face was a little open.
It is, but again, because of the slope, though. What I'm getting at is like,
Oh, I see.
it's not like you aimed it like this. Is that as we get through, we get stuck. We can't rotate as well, and with this downslope, it's like this way. We tend to get locked up here,
Got it.
and it pushes. Now, if I can get this hip to go this way, which is hard against the gravity here of the slope,
Yeah.
it would straighten it out. So we play for the miss. Now, if you had a 4-iron in your hand, that ball's probably even moving more to the right.
Yeah, for sure.
So the lie dictated the shot. The balance was our crucial part. We had both upslope and ball below your feet. The ball below your feet got you the most. It made the ball go more to the right.
Mhm.
It was harder for you to rotate and clear out. You'll get stuck here because you're off balance.
Yeah.
And then unfortunately the hands, and I'm not saying unfortunately, the hands just stayed neutral.
Yeah.
Was open. And I don't want you to flip it as you come through. So this again is when we look at playing the game. You could work on wedges all day long on your at the range, 86-yard shot, and go, I got it, Rick.
Yeah.
And come out here, this is a completely different animal.
Yeah, for sure.
And balance is important, quality of contact is important, but play where most of the pattern's going to be. In this case, it was going to go a little more to the right. We had plenty of green onto the left there.
Cool.
Okay?
Sounds good.
So let's do this. Let's go, we're going to go up about 20 yards because I want to work on partial shots with you.
Yes.
Still having the lie being something that we have to be aware of.
Cool.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right, Jerome. So now we have a partial wedge shot. We're closer, obviously, to the hole. This is not a flat lie.
Yeah.
So any good player is going to look at lie before anything else, and they stand over it. Now we have the ball sitting up, so that's great.
Yeah.
But talk to me about balance right now.
I feel way more balanced than over there.
So it's not as dramatic.
Yeah, but it's still.
Still
a little bit on here. On
this
the right foot. Yep.
right. So balance is our key goal. What'd you shoot the number at?
57.
57. Again, as a reminder, we have a false front that's probably, let's say, 3 yards in front of that. So
Yeah.
if you hit it short, it's going to spin off the green.
Yeah.
So there's, again, a minimum number we have to land it.
Yep.
Okay. You probably have another 5 yards behind it. So you have a maximum number. So you're going to have about an 8 to 10 yard gap here, front to back.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I would prefer you to be left of that hole.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a flatter, but it's a flatter part of green too. On the right hand side, there's more slopes and stuff like that. Let's go again to the easiest spot possible.
Yeah.
So now we're shorter. So now we could either go lob wedge, we can go little partial chippy 56. There's a lot of different ways we can now do it.
Yeah. I'm gonna go 56, but I'm just gonna take it less below 9 o'clock. Yeah.
Okay. And so we can certainly use the clock analogy, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. As you get more proficient at this, we start with that as a structure, but then it becomes very feel oriented.
Yeah,
Right? Like
yeah.
I'm hip height to hip height, and then you just kind of blend it a little bit more. But it's a good starting point because I want you to be committed to the swing you're going to make too. With wedges, I'm the belief that, especially these partial ones, is I want the tempo to be more like a 1-1. Okay. There's not, because it's short, I don't want it to go, right? I don't want a lot of acceleration. I want things to match. Now, as we get further back, obviously there's a separation where the lower body is going faster.
Yeah.
This is control. I need you to hit it that distance.
Yeah.
Okay. And the best way is to keep everything working together.
Okay, cool.
But it's back to balance. I want you to do the practice swing exactly how you plan on it. Feel it.
I'll get over it.
Okay, so it stayed right on the top of the false front, so we're fine. When you hit it, did you believe it was the correct shot?
It felt good, but I knew it was going to be a short.
Just a little short, right? And we had a little gust of wind, not to give you excuse, but there's a little bit of wind that knocked it down too.
Yeah.
Quality contact.
Pretty good.
Was it on the line you wanted?
This is exactly where I wanted.
Right, so a lot of good stuff from that.
Yeah.
So we want to also anchor when we do something well.
Yeah.
What do you think led to solid contact on that one?
When you were saying, like, I kind of just want it even,
Mhm.
that just allowed me to kind of make it a little more smooth. I think a bad tendency in the past of just kind of rushing my downswing on these, but yeah, just kind of feeling a little more smooth, especially doing it on the second practice swing, allowed me to kind of do that.
Yeah. And I think, again, it's there's always this gray area in golf where
Yeah.
we teach putting, we go, okay, putting, and then we go chipping, and then chipping to pitching, like what's the difference, and then pitching to partial wedges, and then full wedges, and then full swings with 7-irons. And is that, yes, they're golf swings,
Yeah.
but tempos do change a little bit. They're,
Okay.
you know, me doing a 50-yard shot is different than a 5-iron.
Yeah.
Okay. The sequence needs to be just right, and again, quality of contact with the correct feel, because distance controls everything here.
Yeah.
Driver, yeah, you hit it 310 one time, 290, and no big deal. 20 yards not going to hurt you.
Yeah.
Here, 10 yards could make a big difference in short or long.
Yeah.
So having the quality of contact's our first goal. We're just going to move you back a couple steps here. So now we're going to change the lie. We've now moved just a few feet. It's the same distance, but now we've changed the lie. Okay? I've said this before, is that we never want to come into this and say it's a good lie or a bad lie.
Mm-hmm.
It's problem solving.
Yeah.
How is this lie going to affect the ball? Well, we have it in some light rough, ball sitting down. What do you think may happen with contact with that?
It's going to hinder the distance. I think we mentioned that some rough, I don't think it's going to, this is kind of light, could like bring this to the left, like hook onto it, but right now I can't gauge how much that would be.
No, and that's through experience, right? We call it pattern recognition. How quickly can I recognize what this shot is?
Yeah.
You're very young to the game, so you're going to make some mistakes on it, but I would agree with you. I think this is not super wiry.
Yeah.
It's thick enough to slow it down,
Yeah.
but I don't think it's going to grab the hosel and shut it left.
Yeah.
Okay? But now you have a decision. Do I take a bigger swing, faster swing to make up the difference? Even though it's the same yardage, you've just told me that this variable could slow the club down.
Yes, and so my initial inclination, I guess, would do farther back, but if it's like slowing down, maybe it's slightly faster, but I don't know.
Could be. And this is part of experimenting, right?
Yeah.
I would probably firm up my grip a little bit so it doesn't get caught as much going through it, and probably will feel just a little more acceleration for me personally.
Yeah, would you hold it off like this, or would you still kind of like?
I would most likely hold it off.
Okay.
Yeah,
got it.
It's going to be kind of staying in front of the type of a thing.
Okay, sounds good.
So we're still doing a practice swing. So now we had more of what we call a flyer in a way. The club didn't get caught, but the grass in between the ball and the grooves created less backspin, so the ball comes out like a flyer, goes a little bit further.
Yeah.
So we had good contact.
Yeah.
From my angle, it looked like you were aiming right, though. Okay. So
Is this too gray?
There was a little bit of alignment, especially because we know the ball is going to leak right. What was your intended target?
My intended target was that ball, the ball there. Was that not?
You were right of it, sir.
So all right.
Let's put another one down, okay? And again, we'll kind of put it in its little bit of light rough stuff there. We still know the ball's below our feet, so we do have to play that it may move to the right like that last one did.
Okay.
Let's go at least 15 feet left of the hole, okay?
Okay. Oh yeah.
You see what I mean?
I was way right.
So again, it's the fundamentals of setup that it can affect a ball. You hit a quality shot, unfortunately aimed a little too far right.
Yeah. Oh man.
Okay, so always when we have that kind of shot, we always want to do a post-shot routine of learn. Were you committed to the shot, ready to go?
I was, yeah.
Great, so mental game, fantastic, right? Physically, we didn't execute the shot, so we hit it thin. What do you think may have happened physically to cause that?
Because I'm like leaning on this to kind of stabilize it. When I went like this, I just went forward, I think.
You went forward and up a little bit, so kind of in here just a touch. That's what we talked about before, is that when we're on awkward lies, rotation is challenging.
Yeah.
Because we're trying to stay balanced. And if I'm on a slope and I'm trying to turn, I'm most likely going to be off balance, and we don't want that. So I think that's what occurred there. We didn't rotate as well as I think you could. There was a little bit of a change of how the body looked from there. Now, we had two different shots from two different angles, but if we look back where we came from, do you see how this is one of the flattest areas of it?
Yeah.
And then we have a big hump over here.
Yep.
Right. So even if you hit a quality shot, I don't know how that ball's going to bounce or spin.
Yeah.
Putt's a little bit more challenging. And what I was more concerned with, if you missed it, what do we have? We have trees. We have a downslope that is balls bye-bye.
Yeah,
okay?
for sure.
With those lies, I wanted us to utilize more room here. And if it fades, we had a lot more room. And if we hit it straight, 30-footer.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you see a different, like looking back where we came from, of how this was a little tighter in here?
Yeah, this is an aggressive shot. If I was over there, I was like, I kind of knew that if I hit this, hopefully roll and like end up over here, but that's like me on my game.
The strategy is, with those lies, the ball is going to tend to go that way anyways.
Yeah.
You have a smaller landing area, and if I miss it, it's a much worse scenario than if I missed it long that way.
Yes, for
So
sure.
we're looking a little risk reward in a way, but it's something we'll talk about a lot is the dispersion. If I gave you 10 balls from those spots, where would they go? Well, you're still learning this game. You would hit one here, one here, one here, one, right? And we want to look at what that oval is and then put it down. You're thinking in the terms of hitting a great golf shot.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds, oh yeah, of course, but how many great shots are you going to hit from there?
Yeah.
Maybe one, maybe two.
Yeah.
The poor golf shot, though, is the one we have to be careful of. And if it goes low right and we're down that hill, we have just made a double bogey on a relatively easy par 5.
Gotcha.
Okay, so we're getting different perspectives. Tournament players will do a practice round and they'll kind of look backwards a little bit where they come from. Oh, okay. And then what happens if the hole's here? What happens, you know? And they're always thinking of scenarios ahead of time. Most golfers are just thinking flag, aim at flag, go.
Yeah.
But you're giving yourself a disservice because you had to hit a really good golf shot. You did.
Yeah.
And you didn't give yourself any wiggle room.
Gotcha.
All right, Jerome. So short game, when you're building your short game toolbox,
Yes.
we start basics, right? We start with a basic chip shot and ball back in stance, and we don't have much hand action. Ball runs out a little bit more.
Yep.
Then we get a little further away. Then we get into some longer rough, so on and so forth. This one is completely different, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
We would not call it a chip shot. Pitch shot, maybe. Sometimes we call it like a flop shot or a lob shot. Now,
Okay.
we want to get height on this, correct?
Yes.
We have a bunker in our way.
Yes.
Everything's below us. Not a ton of green to work with. And this is where I want you to manage your expectations. We were talking about hero shots a lot. Yes, it would be wonderful you can get up and down right now.
Yeah.
If you can get up and 2-putt, we're fine. We're not really getting, it's not a big damage.
Yes.
This is where people get a little cute with the shot and they try a little too much, right? So the first off is we're gonna keep the ball on the lie sitting up enough, okay? Well, I'm not gonna overcomplicate the shot. This is about short and high shot, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what club should you think we use?
60?
You betcha, 60. So now we can, even if we said I could do a 60 with a square face.
Yep.
Okay, so this one I'm gonna do the most basic of basic,
Yep.
okay, is I'm gripping down on my 60. My feet are a little bit open. My ball's middle of stance. And this is gonna be a little bit about hip height to hip height. And I'm gonna let the loft of the club do the work, okay? Now I got fortunate with the bounce, okay? I wanted to obviously land it a little bit further.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't play it that way, but that's a very conservative way of doing it.
Yes.
I would have gone 60, opened up the face, add more loft, aim more to the left, and add a little bit of some wrist set.
Okay.
So what that does is we have a little bit steeper angle of attack. The ball will pop up even more.
Yes.
Now it goes high, but it goes shorter. So
Yeah.
I'm going to take a little bit bigger swing on this one to get the same amount of distance on it. So I was short.
Yeah.
So now we had maybe too much open face.
Yeah.
Maybe I didn't take a big enough swing. So this is where it gets delicate, is because 60 has a lot. I've opened it up. Now I'm going to take a much bigger swing, and you can just see how high that's going to go and how soft that is. But I had to add more and more variables, didn't I?
Yeah.
So I'm starting you off with basic variables first, and then we work from there. Does
Gotcha.
that make sense?
Yeah. And so that's I guess going back to your first sentence about chip, pitch versus flop.
Correct.
Is the difference between those three just like the height, or what's
A lot of it is, so a very basic definition would be chipping would be less air time, more ground time.
Yep.
When the ball hits the ground. Pitch shot might be like a 50-50, right? More air time, less 50% ground time. And then a flop or lob is 90% air time, 10% ground time. So it's the ratio of distance of how far it's flying versus how much it's rolling.
Okay.
Type of a thing. There's other variables that go with that.
Gotcha.
But right now we have to hit high, right? We can't hit it low.
Yeah.
A standard pitch shot may still run out too much. So that's why we're using a 60.
Yep.
I would, let's go standard one though first, right? We're gonna go this pretty more basic. Hands are gonna be pretty quiet on this. And it's gonna be kind of hip height to hip height. Aim a little more left. Okay, take a peek. Pretty good distance control, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, now the ball leaked a little to the right.
Yeah.
But how did that feel overall?
Felt like I opened the club face a little too much.
Okay.
but maybe.
Now, if we open it this way, we have to get our body aim more left.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do this again, but aim more left. I don't mind that the club face was open, by the way. You see how soft that ball landed?
Yeah.
That's good. We had a higher trajectory, land soft.
Got it. And so when you said flop is like this.
We can start getting really goofy with how much open it is, how much we cut across the body.
Yeah.
Like the last one that I did had a lot of flop to it.
It was
It's
very.
up here, it's across, it's a lot more variables.
Yeah.
We're not quite there yet.
Yep.
But let's use the club to help us create the shot. Beautiful. Quality shot, right? You go back to, we can't miss it short.
Yeah, for sure.
You got it on the green. It has a chance to make the putt. If not, probably an easy 2-putt.
Yeah.
Talk to me about how that felt, though.
For that one, I mean, it kind of went off the toe slightly, the miss.
Which will happen on pitch shots because we're kind of cutting across it a little bit more. So don't be as concerned with that.
Oh, okay, got it. I don't know, it just felt good. I don't know.
No, wonderful. But we're going to want to repeat that, right?
Yeah.
So if I put you in a similar lie, you have to kind of like, oh, yeah, I felt like I was a little more hip height than hip height. The tempo seemed very rhythmic, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to hit it hard.
Mm-hmm.
Once we start adding more loft, though,
Yes.
bigger swing, faster swing, and as we joke, it's kind of like trying to hit yourself in the nose with the ball. That's how open we're trying. We don't need it for this particular one, but there's going to be times where that flag is completely tucked.
Yeah.
And we already know you're a hero. We want you, and you're going to probably get greedy on it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to hit it super high. That takes a lot of practice.
Yep.
Because distance control, the more you open it up, the more variables you have, less distance control consistency that you're going to have on that.
Would you say on a flop shot, it's still the same way going back, or is there something? You kind of hinge it. You said, yeah.
If you want to hit it higher.
Higher.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I did the first one, which was kind of more of a baseline.
Yeah.
Hands. Then I added more reset, and then on the third one I added even more.
Mm-hmm.
Each one of those went higher and higher.
Yeah.
So the angle of my tack changed a little bit.
Got it.
As we go through there. So it's something but I always want you to start with baseline, and then add a more variable, and you'll notice that ball go higher, distance control is a lot more challenging.
Yeah.
On that.
Cool.
Okay.
Sounds good.
There's a lot going on here to where it's almost like a recovery shot. And why I pose it as a recovery shot is we want to minimize our damage. Yeah. Okay. If we can get this on the green, 2-putt, get out of here.
Yeah.
Right? So this is, again, being a little, if we get too greedy, we can make some mistakes here and then be going all over the place. So the biggest difference on this, we just did some pitches / more flop shots, is we now have a change of slope.
Yep.
Now, I'm going to be feeling a ton of weight on my left foot. I'm working with the slope. Mm-hmm. In normal conditions, when I have this type of a slope, it would make the ball go lower.
Yeah.
That's not good for this one. Okay.
Yeah.
We want it higher, don't we?
Yeah.
So this is where you're going to have to experiment. But I would, again, most of my weight, 85%, 90% is here on this left side. It's going to stay here. My practice swing is going to be important because I want to see where the club drops at the bottom, right? Notice I can't transfer weight or I'm going to fall on my face.
Yeah.
Your base is super, super, super important, okay? Now, I'm looking at this ball is probably going to go to the right, so I'm going to aim even more left. Yeah. And again, quality of contact is what I want, staying in that posture. I'm opening the face up a little bit, I am, and I want to feel like I swing with the slope. This is not going to be a big divot or anything. I'm working with the slope. So I've stabilized. I can see where I want to land it, about 6 feet onto the green and about 15 feet left of it. I have a ton of weight on my left side, and I'm going to work with the slope.
Oh, go in. Go.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Now, this is a challenging shot, and yes, I've done it many times wrong to know what was crucial. Crucial was stability with the lower body. It is the balance here is super important. The feeling like I'm working with the slope was very important. And then I threw that last one in. I want to know where I'm aiming, why, so everything was aligned there. Okay. So now,
Did you 60 here still?
I am still using 60 because the lie is so going against us as far as I need as much loft as possible. Okay. So you can already feel the massiveness of slope here.
Yeah. And so when I'm bringing it back, would you say, is it also like going along or is it like still going up here?
I would say it's more up.
Oh,
You're going to be, because you can't turn as well from this, you're going to be working more like this with the club instead of around.
Gotcha.
Good luck turning off that lie because you're going to be all over the place. But your upper body is going to be somewhat stable. Your lower body's super stable.
Yeah.
It's going to feel like your club is going out in front of you, up, and then down the slope. You're working with the slope there.
Okay.
Look at this guy. Show off.
Okay, that makes way more sense.
Okay. Yet, again, if you were on your own and you gave you 10 balls, you may start to figure it out, right? But notice how important setup was.
Yeah.
Balance was important, right?
Yeah.
And then you had to trust that this ball is going to leak right. I had you aim way left. I mean, that's where practicing on a course or practicing in a very unique environment is going to help you.
Yeah.
You're going to hit some bad shots.
Yeah.
But man, that was really good, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, not as good yours.
Well, of course not. Come on. I mean, come on. You're just a young Jedi, okay? We're trying to get you to that point.
Yeah.
I'm the old Yoda here, okay? So, but that was really good. But we want to learn from those great shots too, right?
Yeah, I think the main thing, I mean, yeah, for sure. I didn't even I feel like I wasn't even on this at all.
No.
I was just like this.
We're in a spot where you would say, oh, it's normally a chip shot, right? We're very close to the green. Could you putt it? Maybe, but we see a lot of stuff in between here that ideally you'd want to probably chip it.
Okay.
Yet, what do we look at the lie? We have sandy lie, but also a firm lie.
Yeah.
That's challenging.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, there's two ways to do this. There's what I'm going to call the very basic way, which for now is fine, which is going to look very much like a normal chip shot. So it's going to be ball back in stance, weight forward, hands forward, the lean here.
Yeah.
And now that leading edge is going to kind of catch, right? And again, it's going to go downhill here. So forward here, boom, boom. Okay. So that was a good quality shot, right? But I could tell if I was going to be an inch, a half inch behind it, thing's going to dig.
Yeah.
And the sand and stuff like that. So the other option, and we will do option one with you first, because that was a very just keep the handle in front. This one is a more advanced, is you have and I have my 60 here, but you have the bounce of the club. You have this angle here at the bottom here. We can use that to our advantage. A lot of people think, oh, if I hit the bounce here, it's going to make me skull the ball, but in fact, it actually helps you here.
Okay.
So I'm going to do it very similar. I'm going to open it up a little bit, and I'm going to use my right hand under it a little bit more, so it slides instead of digs.
Wait, can you show me that with the right hand? Sorry.
So the right hand is
I see.
under,
Yeah.
which the club slides instead of dig. Okay. Okay. So a little bit more hand action. Timing has to be good. Again, this is either way, there's some preciseness. If you do this one, it gives you a little bit more room for air because now the bounce. The other one, if I hit behind it and that club digs, it's going to be fat. Okay. So two methods to achieve the same thing, but this always gets back to lie.
Yeah.
What's the lie? Well, we know it's firm, but it's also sandy. So it's not as lush. It's not as, we can't get the under the ball the same way.
Got
right?
it. Got it.
So let's go traditional method first, which is ball back, weight forward, having the handle stay in front of the club head like a leaning shaft. Good.
Yeah. Oh,
good. Now what we'll notice though is we are de-lofting the club in that case, and that ball's going to run out a little bit more.
Yeah.
But we're looking at quality of contact first, right?
Yeah.
So that was your basic traditional one.
Yep.
Now let's go, which is going to require a little bit of practice, is allowing the right hand to release under the left. So we're not going to get as leaning shaft. We're going to be a little more neutral, and then we're going to have this softness as we come through. So the club will hit the ground.
Yeah, and I can still go back with my body a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. I think this is a pretty small shot though. Okay, so there's actually a good example. You hit way behind it. You did. The bounce actually kind of helped save it a little bit. It didn't dig.
Yeah.
I know that's going too far.
Yep.
But that's the point of why that might be down the road a better shot to utilize. Once we go leaning shaft and dig with the leading edge, it's fat.
Yeah.
And you hit it about 2 feet. Right.
Yeah. And so for that one, for the more advanced one, would I, what's this called? Do I still have a lot of all my
You still
weight?
have weight on the left, for sure. We're just neutralizing instead of like leaning into it, we're keeping this a little more neutral.
Yeah.
And allowing the right hand to go under.
So you're feeling it, like pushing it with the right hand. Did you say that or no?
I'm not sure I would use the word pushing, but if that's what you feel, I'm allowing the right hand to go past the left hand. Allowing it, right? So there's a softness about that. If I get too aggressive with that, I'm gonna have some issues. Okay. Now we're overdoing the follow through. I mean, there's way too much here. There's just a softness. That's it.
Okay.
We don't have to go all the way over here and
Gotcha.
you're getting a little bit too much handsy on it. It's just like I say, a softness about it. Yeah, that's it. That's all you need there.
Okay.
Okay. We're still in the short game section, yet we've now changed the lie yet again.
Yeah.
We have now an upslope lie, and we have some options on this one. Upslope lie tends to be a little easier. Reason is I usually can get the ball up in the air, no problem.
Yeah.
The issue becomes distance control is because I can do that, and I'm going to exaggerate this next one.
Yeah.
But if we're going to ask you to be swinging with the slope, and this is going to make it go higher, really high, but not very far.
Yeah.
That looked pretty.
Yeah.
It was the wrong shot.
Yep.
So one, I wouldn't be using 60 anymore.
Okay.
Because this is already helping us add more loft.
Okay.
So let's go to the mechanics of that. Now my weight's on my back foot.
Yeah.
I'm working with the slope here, keeping everything in front of me. I'm not going to open the club very much at all.
Yep.
Because I don't need more loft.
Yep.
Right. And I'm not going to get real handsy or something like that. I want less height.
Yeah.
Yet we're going into a slope.
Mm-hmm.
So first off is I would have switched my 60 to 56. And now I would be here a little bit more square. And now I probably feel 80-20.
Mm-hmm.
The ball is further back because my weight's back in here.
Yeah.
And then I'm swinging again with that slope.
Yeah.
Okay, not a lot of hand action, but notice it was still short though.
Yeah.
Looked nice, but it was still short.
Yep.
So that's when we have this lie. People tend to hit it solid,
Yeah.
but very high and very short. So let's use the 56 instead of the 60. The lie is also spongy. The ball's sitting up to where it's easy to get under. It's like on a tee.
Yeah.
That, again, is another thing that's going to go that way. When you do the practice swings, I do want you to preload that back foot.
Yeah.
And feel where the low point is, and that'll change where the ball position is.
Would you say there's no transfer or still a transfer weight?
It's difficult to transfer because I'm going up. If I try to go transfer, I'm going to smother it. So
Okay.
my simple answer is no transfer.
Okay.
That's why we're putting the ball back. That's why we're kind of preloading that back side there.
And this is, would you say not open at all or like slightly?
Very slightly. This is actually a lie that's sitting up fine to where we don't need to open up the face too much at all. The leading edge I don't think is going to dig much, but this is really again about balance, working with the slope. The ball's going to go shorter than you think.
Yeah.
So taking a bigger swing than what you first thought would be beneficial. Okay,
Too much.
a little too much, but good contact, right? Back of the green.
Yeah. I knew that was exactly going to go over the incident. I was like, oh.
Okay, but this is again about adjustment, right? I make a smaller swing. I like to still have your hands be a little bit more in control of the club coming through.
Okay.
Yeah, you're
Holding
kinda
off?
Just a little flippy.
Okay.
Nice. Very nice. So more mid-trajectory.
Yeah.
One, because we used a 56 instead of a 60. You stayed stable over the ball.
Yeah.
And you had less hand action, right?
Yeah.
So less hand action makes it go a little bit lower.
Yeah. Would you say when we go back like 40, 50, 60, you want to see this hold off? Like, does that hold off kind of stay there until like maybe like 100 yards or something?
Every situation is a little bit different, but what I was seeing with your shots today so far is that sometimes you lose control of the club.
Yeah.
And I want us to keep the hands on it. Now I could unset it, I can do all those type of things as we go. But it's hard for me to say when do you allow yourself a full follow through, all that kind of stuff. It depends on a lot of variables there.
Okay. I don't even have a game plan, right? When I'm here, all I do is I just track it, see how much it is from here, and then know it's probably going to come out like fast. and I'll just grab a 7-iron, and I know like if I go here, it's 120. This 60, I'll just hit it. That's all I do.
Which is good for distance, but we're going to be talking about trajectory right now. Okay.
Yeah.
You can't go over this tree.
Yes.
You're going to have to go under, or you're going to have to go around.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think you're Bubba Watson yet, so I don't think you're going to be going anytime soon.
Yeah, for sure.
So we have to now change trajectory. So my question would be, how are you going to make it go lower? If you hit a standard 7-iron, it's going into those tree lines.
Oh, sorry. When I go 7-iron, I just like this, and then I hold it off, and then I just do that. I guess it kind of punches out.
That's fine, but I'm going to add another layer of ball position and those type of things to make it go lower.
Okay. Yeah, I don't do any of that.
So we want to make sure that we're not going to get hurt here. So we're going to try to find a place that doesn't have any roots.
Yeah.
So that's hard pan for sure.
Yes.
Okay. And so I'm looking at, you certainly can get your yardages. That's fine.
Yeah.
But the priority by far is the trajectory.
Okay.
Right. Now you mentioned 7-iron. Well, somebody could go 5-iron.
Yeah.
I already know it's going to go lower. Somebody go 4-iron. Or we could take a 7-iron and turn it into a 5-iron by putting the ball position back and hands forward. So
Okay.
it's a matter of the combinations.
Okay. So like, what would you?
I'd be hitting 5-iron for sure because I want to minimize the chance of that ball floating up.
Okay. Let's hit the 5-iron.
Ball's going to be further back because we're going to de-loft it, and part of your punch idea is the hands are going to stay in front of the club head. Okay.
And am I?
A little bit of lean.
Yeah.
Let's not overly do that.
And then I'm just going this and.
Correct. And there's some speed with it. I mean, we're going to have a partial shot. There still has to be some acceleration going through.
Got it. And I'm still rotating?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, cool.
Definitely.
Oh.
Okay. So kind of one of those good news, bad news, right? We got it past our tree, but we didn't get enough on it to really get it close to the green.
Yeah.
You got a little handsy on that one. So let's really like drive it on that.
Okay, got it. So this and then just.
Yeah, go for it.
Got it.
Better.
Yeah, it's not.
And it's some of that, again, a little bit of the lie was so firm that the club kind of bounced on you, but that again is getting us closer and closer to what we needed to do.
Gotcha. Should I just take like a mat? So these punch shots, could I go all the way back and just kind of like hold it off and it'll...
You certainly can, and that's part of understand what is the distance, right?
Yeah.
I think we're roughly in a 140 range.
Yeah.
If you hit a stinger 5-iron and got the most out of it, it's probably going more than 140, or in this case 150 uphill.
Yeah.
So I like the idea you can go bigger and then poof, and then hold it off there. I think that helps us keep the trajectory where we want.
Okay. And what would you say? I mean, I've never hit a stinger, but like, is a stinger different from a punch shot?
It's very similar. It's just that, I mean, your body is doing everything. You got to be strong enough to not let it kind of recoil, and it requires strength in the core to be able to do. But it's very similar in that we're trying to control club face and the trajectory to make it go a little bit lower. Beautiful.
Oh, I see. Okay. And that's just kind of all body there.
A lot of body, hands stay passive, keep the club. You know, that got almost all the way to the green.
Yeah. Okay.
But I want to go back to the first problem solving is this first tree in front of us.
Yeah.
We had to get it low.
Mm-hmm.
Now some people, I'll just hit a 7. It's like, it could jump on us and catches the branch come down.
Yeah.
We had to get past that. Now you did on all 3 of them, but it got progressively better. Why do you think it got better?
Well, I kind of just knew how much I needed to go back.
Correct, right? So it comes with trial and error. Yeah. But knowing the 5-iron is going to come out lower, but you still had to hit it was very important. That was good.
Do a lot of people, maybe in the pros, just go around here?
This one worked well to hit it around. You don't have enough space to do it, and you may push it to the right, and now we're in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
Okay. There will be very talented players that can move it. This particular case, they're going to go low just like you did for sure.
Okay, got it.
If there was playable spot on the right-hand side, maybe that comes into play. I just kind of sling a hook around, but that's not the play here.
Okay, sounds good. And here, just don't be that handsy for punch shots. You kind of just want to go
Correct.
there.
We got to keep the hands in front to make it de-loft, get the solid contact, and just kind of drive it as you go there.
Perfect. Okay, sounds good.
All right, Jerome. So I've moved you up on a par 3 on some up tees because in some of our videos that we've talked about is wedge work, and the difference between a 50-yard shot, 80-yard shot, and there's a gray area. Do I take full swing? Do I do 3/4? Do I put, and now we're getting closer to what a full swing would be like, right? What did you shoot the number at?
117.
117, right? So it's not it might be a partial shot if we're in between clubs.
Yeah.
But now this is definitely full swing setup, right? And we have a flag that's in the front, but it's also middle from left to right. That's a pretty much go for it flag, by the way. Right?
Yeah.
There's not much out there. But now we go 117. We have some wind today.
Yeah.
Some breeze, and it's been swirling a little bit here in the canyon. What do you think it's playing? What's the shot you're gonna play?
That's probably like 110.
110. Okay. So what is that for you?
I know like a max 56 would be like 103, 104. Then A max is like 120. So like it's like right. So that's why I was wondering.
This is
like,
perfect.
what do
Right.
do?
So in this case, if you're short, you're on the fringe. It's not the worst thing in the world. If there was bunker there, we might have a different discussion.
Yeah.
You have at least 15 yards to work with past the hole, don't you? This is a pretty large green behind it. Either way works. I would say that we have to get pretty clear though on what the wind's doing right now. And we've got a helping and then over to the right.
Yeah.
And so you could get away with the shorter club and hit it full. I'm fine with that. If there was no wind, I would probably definitely have you have the other club. If it went long, big deal. You have a 30-footer coming back downhill.
Yeah.
Okay, but there's nothing in front of the screen that is of concern. So I'm okay with either one. But because it's downwind, I'm fine with the shorter club and hitting it.
Gotcha. And you wouldn't do like an A, the soft A, or like a 70, like an 80% shot on.
When you say 80%, I'm not big into changing speeds right now. At
Oh,
your
I meant
stage.
like sorry.
Length of swing,
length.
right? Yeah. Because some people do both. They go, I'm going to go shorter and softer. I go, when's the last time you practiced that?
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
So it's a disaster. But if you say, no, I'm going to go regular speed, but I'm going to go 3/4, 3/4, 80%, then I'm fine with that. But that's getting very clear. No, you have two options.
Yeah.
And we may have mentioned this in one of the other ones. Like on the golf, do you make the decision with your head or with your gut?
My gut.
Gut.
Yeah.
So it feels. So maybe you put both clubs out in front of you and go, it just feels like this.
Yeah.
That's one way.
Yeah. I'm gonna just send the 56 degree.
Send it.
Send it. Well, just because, like I said, I haven't practiced those 80% shots, and this might go short, but we'll see.
But also, it's about also of. I asked you to kind of before inventory shots you need to learn.
Yeah.
Now that you play more golf, you're going to go, oh, I got to talk to Rick about this. Because then you have to learn how to mechanically do it.
Yeah.
And those become this list of shots, not I'm working on my swing mechanics.
Yeah.
I got to learn how to play.
Yeah.
So this is one of those cases, right? We're in between shots. Rick, I haven't done enough of the partial A wedge. That's fine.
Do you want me to tee this up or?
Well, that's a good question. Is that it is a par 3.
Yeah.
You are allowed to tee it up. I'd be concerned if we start teeing up too high, you catch it high in the face, you lose distance control. This tee box is in really good shape.
Yeah.
I believe we're just going to keep it on there, okay? Okay, just observe it. Okay, quality shot, correct?
Yeah.
So back to the mental side, were you committed to the shot?
Yeah, for sure.
Because we were in between clubs, you're in between decisions, yet you made a decision and you went with it, okay?
Yeah.
We still have to execute it performance-wise, but it looked like both happened, right? Good commitment to the shot, good swing, boom. And I think that's why I'm fine with what you decided because more of the downwind conditions kept pumping this way, so it helped. If there was no wind, again, I think it's more of a decision with the A wedge.
Yeah, for sure. That was a pretty good shot.
Easy game.
Yeah. Boom. Let's go.